little. Whoa. So 09, 10 to 12, L322.3, 5-liter supercharged or non-supercharged L322 Range Rover. Why do I tell people to not buy this model? Well, how does the .3 5-liter L322 Range Rover drive? And this is where it gets everybody, because it drives very well. Howdy, welcome back to the Addicted Motors YouTube channel. My name is Troy, your favorite purveyor of British SUVs, and now basically just Land Rover Range Rovers these days. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the forbidden fruit, right? The Range Rover that I tell everybody not to buy. And why do I have one sitting in my driveway? We'll get into that in a second. Point. There's a reason people sell these and why they're cheap, traded in dealers or at dealer auctions, because they suffer from terminal engine issues that total the vehicle if repaired or if quoted for being repaired. So I realize that not everyone knows everything about these SUVs, and that could be why you're watching this video, or you're a subscriber. And again, if you are a subscriber, please like and subscribe, hit the little bell, do all that fun YouTube stuff. It really helps me out, and you can see more hot garbage, great SUVs like this one. Now, where I was going with that is some people that aren't educated in these SUVs see this and go, yes, it's a Range Rover. It's an L322 Range Rover. Great, cool. Well, there's three of them, at least in the North American models, right? There is the BMW powered 4.4s. I call them the L322.1s. That was the 2003, 4, and 5. The .2s, the .2.5, which is the L322 with the 4.4 Jag engine, and most of the BMW interior architecture, just a little bit different. And then the 07, 08, 09, the real .2s, which are the upgraded interior. You add the supercharged 4.2, the naturally aspirated 4.4, same as the 06. And then the .3s, which are this one, the 5-liter, the 2009, 2012 5-liter naturally aspirated or supercharged V8, and that is what this is. This is a .3 5-liter, I think it's 2011 or 10 L322 non-supercharged, and it is here in a condition. So let's talk about it. So 09, 10 to 12 L322.3 5-liter supercharged or non-supercharged L322 Range Rover. Why do I tell people to not buy this model? Probably from the socioeconomic standpoint, that most people that ask me for advice for Land Rover Range Rover products don't have a larger budget or a set aside additional budget for maintenance budget, for purchasing a vehicle such as this. These are the forbidden fruit, right? They are a much nicer driving experience than the .2 or the .1, the predecessors of it. It has a slightly updated infotainment system. You've got auto dimming headlights. Some of them had an adaptive cruise control. It is the most modern, classic Land Rover shape body before the L405 that you can buy, and they are cheap. These things go for auction. I've seen them from $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. A nice one could still cost you more, but they are tempting, right? Because they're cheap, and because they're cheap, individuals look at them, they think that they might not realize what motor it has or hasn't. And it really goes for any of the versions. You could see an 03 and 04, oh, it's a Range Rover. I've seen these sell for more money. They don't realize that it's very different as far as the configurations go. But this particular one, I think it's a 2010, this is how people buy them. I tell people not to buy them, primarily one, because they're tempting and they're cheap. The engines have very terminal issues, which is the reason why most of them are for sale, and I think I can't harken on that point. There's a reason people sell these and why they're cheap, traded in dealers or at dealer auctions, because they suffer from terminal engine issues that total the vehicle if repaired or if quoted for being repaired. It doesn't prevent them from running and driving. You can start it up, and if there's no immediate chain rattle or something like that, which we'll get into that in a little while, then it has the illusion, the impression that it's okay, but it's probably not. I know that was a little bit rambly, but you have to realize how these get for sale, and that's how they get for sale. Somebody buys them, they can't handle the maintenance anymore, they get a $8,000 bill for timing chains or injectors or something like that, and they dump it to somebody or a dealer, and then somebody else buys it for $3,000 and then has to put $12,000 in to fix it. So that is why I tell people not to buy the 5-liter, because once you're finished fixing the engine issues, you still have to deal with all the rest of the normal Land Rover, Range Rover things: air suspension, ECU, computer, cooling system. It's a long list, but it's fun. I enjoy doing it. I make these videos. Oh look, this one stays open. Ready? Ooh. There you go. That was the sound of a 150,000 mile 5-liter Jag V8 starting without any timing chain noise, which is very rare for a less than perfectly maintained one, and impressive. So just to give you an idea of what a fairly healthy one sounds like. That's kind of how you want it to sound. Oh, I forgot there's a car seat back here. We're gonna get in the AC to talk about the engine issues. Now, I'm not a mechanic, I'm not an expert, but all I can speak to is my experience seeing customer cars, friends' cars, and just research and general understanding of how things work or not work. The Jag 5-liter engine is not a terminally bad engine. I think where the issues that created the well, they're truths now surrounding these engines come from the cooling systems. They're not terrible. I think there's some crossover pipes that came plastic. You can make those metal. And the timing chain guides, which these, I think they came from the manufacturer with a 10,000 or an 8,000 or a 12,000 mile oil change interval. And I think the owners didn't follow that right. I think what again, these will last 200,000 miles without on the original chains and guides. I'll see that in the comments too. But I think people stretched the oil change intervals, which caused wear and tear and viscosity breakdown and all that, which caused wear on the timing chain, stretch, timing issues, and then they let the things go too long because it's a snowball effect, right? It's expensive to get your oil changed. I mean, the first owners took care of it. The second owners took a little less good care of it. Third owners didn't do anything. The fourth owners dumped it at all. It's that type of thing. So are these all terminal? No, but will you have to do, for you to keep it and sleep at night, will you need to do the chains? Yes, you do. Will the truck run with bad chains? It will. It'll throw a couple codes or not throw codes. It might last 10,000 miles with a little chain slap. It's everyone's talked about it till they're weak in the knees, but it is the reason why I say be wary of them. You're not just going to be able to get in and drive it unless you get lucky. I mean, I played Rover Roulette. We have a whole series on it, but this one will hurt you because if you get into the engine, if you do timing, yeah, you can guide slap it. That might be $3,000 in labor. A real timing chain guide service with all the wire in there is like $8,000. And that's what you're looking at. You can buy the car for $5 and put $8 in. I know that's any car, but whatever use case is, that might total out the experience for you. So that's the in-car chat on what I think about a 5. So let's talk about the owners that you buy these from, right? 3 categories, kind of like the P38. You've got the one owner pristine examples that are probably on their original timing chains and everything else. They probably have 140 to 160,000 miles on them if they were bought in 2011 or 12. They don't have a whole lot of issues. It was dealer serviced. Everything's pristine. You get in it, it feels great. Everything's good. You drive off their driveway, drive in the lot, and then everything starts going bad because it's all original. Because most people, if they buy a car new, don't replace airbags or timing chains or head gaskets or anything because they service it, they live with the car every day, and they get it serviced when there's an issue, and they can afford to pay for it. So that's your owner number one. Owner number two, what owner number two does. Your second type of owner is the one that bought it at, well, they could have bought it from owner number one, but they bought it at like 80 to 120,000 miles. All the things failed. They replaced all the things. They're in over the head. Let's say they got it for $8,000. They thought it was gonna be a good thing. They've done timing chains. They've done all the bags. They've done all the electrical issues. They've put new tires on it. They've done the crossover pipes. They've done all the things. And now they just have one more bill, or they're just gonna get a new Land Cruiser and not deal with the issues anymore. And that is a sweet spot to buy. And owner number three is the person that, ooh, I want a Range Rover. They see it in an auction or buy here, pay here. The thing's already totaled. They get it for cheap. They realize it's bad. They might change the oil at Jiffy Lube. And then you're looking at it for $2,500 going, this is the deal. I think I'm going to become owner number two and put $8,000 into it and make this my car. So pick your poison. And again, I just think that the bill for fixing these, because the 4.4s, 4.2s have terminal issues, can get a little bit out of hand because after you fix the motor, you still have to fix all the L322 Land Rover, Range Rover things. And I'll stop talking about all that now. That's just my podcast of it. So let's do spot the differences, right? You got a slightly different integrated grille. It kind of gets into the headlight a little bit like an LR4. The headlights are obviously a little different, more LEDs. It's got different fog lights. They're not in the bumper anymore. They're down there, kind of a different lower valence. The rest is pretty much the same. You got the little cameras on the mirrors for your blind spot. What else? Different tail lights. The back's pretty much the same. It's the same. Yeah, it's the same. So, you know, from 2003 to 2012, they've changed the outside very little, which is nice. It's a handsome looking truck. It's one of the reasons why most people are attracted to it. I've never met someone that doesn't like how an L322 looks. And that is one of the reasons why I think people definitely still buy them. So jumping into the inside, this is where the temptation. I tell everyone to buy an 07 to 08 L322 4.4 or 4.2 supercharged, just because I think that's the best powertrain, the best mid-ground interior, and kind of the best of all worlds. And plus for the 0809, you get a locking differential standard in the 08 and 09s. This one, 2011 or 10, does not have a rear locker. I found that out because it was once broken. But again, the interior, it's a little bit different. Door panels pretty much the same. Seats are pretty much the same. You get the digital dash, which is nice. You get the LR4 style steering wheel, heated steering wheel, different modes, push to talk, blah, blah, blah. You have a cool screen. Let's go ahead and start it up. This one thinks the hood's open because it is an old Land Rover. This is the thing that Jeremy Clarkson said with the newer ones, that this ECU system goes on and off, on and off, on and off so many times, it eventually kind of kills the car and the battery, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's one of the downsides. More tech, more CAN bus, more this, more waste drain on the battery. It's just how life works. Same shifter thing as, you know, 709. This is slightly updated, and of course your screen's a little bit different. Like some have adaptive cruise. This one had auto dimming headlights, high beams, and whatnot, which I thought was cool. Everything else pretty much remains the same. I like the kind of coffee interior this one has with this kind of greenish silver gold exterior. I think it's a very handsome truck, personally. So yeah, that's really all there is to be said about the interior, honestly. All right, so how does the .3 5-liter L322 Range Rover drive? And this is where it gets everybody, because it drives better than the 4.2. It feels more powerful. It is more powerful, 385 horsepower, something like that. 6-speed auto still, but it feels light on its feet. The air ride is comfortable. The screen looks a little better. The backup camera looks a little better. It's a more modern place to be, and it feels right. That is where it hooks you, because even a bad one usually will drive pretty good. I drove my friend's mechanically totaled 12 green on brown supercharged that needed chains and everything else. And even with like no control arms and everything, that thing ripped. It was a monster. That one, the supercharged version of this is 500 some horsepower. It is completely inappropriate for the chassis and the transmission. So one thing you have to be wary about in these 5-liter and 5-liter supercharged is that 6-speed ZF was used in the V6 LR3 all the way up to the 500 horsepower plus L322.3 supercharged. So you got 200 horsepower variants of that ZF 6-speed. I could be slightly wrong about that, but I don't think I'm that wrong. It might have some type of beefed up internals a little bit, but I don't know if that variance is the same. And hammering down on a normal transmission that was designed for various different amounts of power over 110 some thousand miles is not great. And I don't think a lot of people do the transmission fluid filter service. So that's one thing you always should do. I think regardless of miles, I could be wrong, when you buy one of these trucks. It's just a smart insurance for transmission related failures, or to prevent, so you don't have that failure. It's good insurance. And we'll wait for these people to go by. I'll put it in sport mode by moving the shifter over. I'll get it going straight, and we will hammer down. Oh, I left a bit of a smoke screen there. U-turn here and give it some beans. Oh. Whoa. And U-turn here and give it some beans. Whoa. Little James Bond. Oh, no. Ow. Oh, gee, what? Okay, I guess it still has a little issue. So, again, back to the driving experience. On the highway, smooth, quiet, plenty of power. It really is like the direct delivery of power with the 5-liter. It is far superior. It just feels adequate all the time, going up hills, cruising. It just feels like it's the engine that was supposed to be in this vehicle. All the reliability related things aside, when you're in one and it's running great and you have, everything tuned up just like any car, it is the ideal powertrain, I think, for this platform. Other things to note, sound system's great, brakes feel good. You want to test the air suspension. You want to make sure there's no check engine lights, nothing on the dash. You really have to know what you're looking for and be very thorough if you're going to buy one of these and look for things. You want to check the service history. You just have to go a little bit above and beyond if you want one that is functional out the box. If you want one that's going to be a project, I'm not going to tell you what to do. If you're watching this channel, you already have an idea of what to do, so we're not even going to get into that. But if you want to buy a sorted one, you'll find one. It'll be great. And you're still going to put $5,000 to $10,000 into it. Everyone has to do it. It's just part of the ownership experience. Unfortunately, like I said, this is no longer a daily, just a car. This is an enthusiast purchase. And that is what I want to try to knock into a lot of people's heads, because I just get so many questions and whatnot from all types of people all the time. Hey, can I make this my daily driver? Can I do this? Can I put my kids? Yeah, sure. But it's, one day it might make a problem for you. Just a little problem. Yeah, this particular one's smoking, and I have a lot of worried other people behind me. So that's the issue with these, right? This particular truck was purchased. I made some videos about it a few months ago. A friend's mom said it needed nothing. It had an airbag leak or something like that. Found out she must have nailed a curb because she cracked the front CV joint right in half. So the truck without a rear locker, it couldn't figure out how to move. So we thought it was more of an issue or a transmission issue or something like that. So that was fixed. The airbag was fixed. But now, if the car was sitting and didn't do it before, I get a little bit of smoke screen when we gun it. And it wasn't doing that before, and now it's doing it again. I also think I'm getting codes for the thermostat, which I think the thermostats are stuck open. Maybe I was, initially I'm like, oh, thermostats are stuck open. It's running a little bit rich, blah, blah. But now I think it's an AOS issue or something like that, because I'm still getting this smoke screen when I drive. Again, the truck runs and drives fine, just a little smoke out of the tailpipes. You can't see it. So Fun times with 5-liter things. And this truck's also for sale. If you're interested, let me know. Again, runs and drives beautifully. Just has a little, little something coming out of the tailpipe. Probably an easy fix. But if you know what the easy fix is, let me know in the comments. Oof. See if it'll do it again. And now it's not doing it. Interesting. Now, my last point, there's a lot of discussion that can go into buying one of these trucks, but the heart wants what it wants. So there's plenty of people that'll go out and buy these anyway. But if you get a deal on one and you get in it and it feels good and you take it through its paces and everything's fine, there's no chain rattle and start up, the air suspension works, the transfer case works, no check engine lights, has a good owner and good history and good everything else, and it's a good price, just go ahead and buy it, right? How bad can it be? Which is the famous last words. But I think I just wanted to shed a little bit of light on, why I tell people not to buy a 5-liter, but there's some people that this is what they want. This is what they're going to get anyway. So, and that being said, with my reliable 4.2 08 supercharged, I've also had to put 10 grand worth of maintenance into. Just nothing really engine related, except for that supercharger coolant hose that runs under it. That was expensive. So, buy whatever one you want. Let's just do whatever you want. I can only expound so much on these wonderful things. So that's me for this video. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. All you 5-liter guys, jump in and tell us what you think about them. And you're just about as interesting as a P38 guy. So I want to hear your take on it. Or maybe you haven't experienced the problem yet. So, let's hear it. But that's going to be it for this video. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace. Oh, this one is for sale-ish. If you're interested, let me know. Let's call it 5 grand. Runs and drives great. No check engine light. Things that I know it needs is thermostat seems to be stuck open. Got that smoke thing on full acceleration. But other than that, AC, everything works great. So, it's weird. I'm not sure. It could last forever. It could blow up, but that's the game we play.